I'm recording a video for the Visual Accent and Dialect Archive online. I'm from New Orleans. My parents are, one of my parents is from South Carolina, the other is sort of from all over because of a military family. So I, however, spent all my time growing up in New Orleans. I've never lived anywhere else for any significant period of time, longer than a few months, outside of going to school here in New York City, which is where I am right now for college. But I spent 18 years, I think 18, in New Orleans growing up until I went to New York City for college. People generally don't place me as being from the South, although to be honest, I think I've picked up a little bit more of a Southern accent after having gone to New York City. Don't know what that means. Analyze that how you will, but usually people place me on the East Coast or California for some reason. But I'm from New Orleans, and my family's from the South, so I'm going to read a bit of a story called Arthur the Rat. We'll see if I get bored halfway through. Once there was a young rat named Arthur who could never make up his mind. Whenever his friends asked him if he would like to go out with them, he would only answer, "I don't know." He wouldn't say yes or no either. He would always shirk making a choice. His Aunt Helen said to him, "Now look here, no one is going to care for you if you carry on like this. You have no more mind than a blade of grass." One rainy day, the rats heard a great noise in the loft. The pine rafters were all rotten, so that the barn was rather unsafe. At last the joists gave way and fell to the ground. The walls shook, and all the rats' hair stood on end with fear and horror. "This won't do," said the captain. "I'll send out scouts to search for a new home." Within 5 hours, the 10 scouts came back and said, "We found a stone house where there is room and board for us all. There is a kindly horse named Nellie, a cow, a calf, and a garden with an elm tree." The rats crawled out of their little houses and stood on the floor in a long line. Just then the old one saw Arthur. "Stop," he ordered coarsely. "You are coming, of course." "I'm not certain," said Arthur, undaunted. "The roof may not come down yet." "Well," said the angry old rat, "we can't wait for you to join us. Right, about face, march." Arthur stood and watched them hurry away. "I think I'll go tomorrow," he calmly said to himself. "But then again, I don't know, it's so nice and snug here." You can tell how this is going to end, can't you? That night there was a big crash. In the morning, some men with some boys and girls rode up and looked at the barn. One of them moved aboard, and he saw a young rat, quite dead, half in and half out of his hole. Thus the shirker got his due. And that is the story. Quite frightening. Yes, so I'm from New Orleans, grew up there, live in New York City now for school, but born and bred Orleanian.